Hey Waffle Gang, I do hope you're well. My name is Mark and today we're checking out some more relationship stories, and if you do love a Reddit story, why not consider hitting that like, subscribe, maybe that notification bell too. Well, let's crack on with today's first story, which says, would I be the arsehole if I left my fiancé destitute? I might not be in the right state of mind, but I had to get this off my chest. 2 days ago, I came back from basketball a little early. I overheard my fiancée, June, tell a friend that she is settling for me. This friend just got out of a relationship. I don't know what they were talking about before, but I just heard June say that after all the arseholes she dated, settling for me would be good for her. She then went on to describe my job and all the perks of being with me. Love is apparently not on the list. Hearing this kind of broke me. I just stood in place dumbfounded. I don't even think she loves me. For context, we live in a beach house. I bought it as a total gut job and renovated it myself, and I have several other properties that are all rented out. I work in property insurance from home and do house flips on the side. I'm satisfied with what I've accomplished so far in my life. All of this was worth mentioning for June, but not how much I loved her. How much time we spent together, not how I tried to be supportive of her goals and ambitions, how she wanted for nothing. I'm not going to lie, I was in a bad place, maybe still am. I spent all of last night going through her messages. I know her password, I just never looked. Well, it's a pretty common thing for her to say. Pretty much all of her friends know what's up. June wants a nice, normal guy after all the assholes she has dated. She wants a drama-free life where she'd be taken care of. Every time I read what she really thought about me, it was like another needle was being jammed into my heart. My first reaction was to yell at her and confront her about it. My second reaction was to make her suffer like I am. My dear June, the love of my life, I thought, doesn't work right now. She quit to be a real estate agent. I don't know. Maybe she wanted to learn more about real estate. Maybe she thought her looks would get her by. She doesn't work right now. Zero. She also lives in my house. She decorated it and suddenly put her touches on everything. But my name is on the title, just mine. Her car is technically mine too. She didn't qualify for financing on her own, and she just had to have a Beamer, so I co-signed it. I can probably make a case that's my car. We don't have joint accounts. Thank the Almighty himself, because she did ask. I pay her cards right now. I want to show her the texts, throw her shit in garbage bags and put her out on the street. Would I be the arsehole if I did that? But PH Doofus says never accept being Mr. You'll do until something better comes along. Status Pattern says not the arsehole, you aren't leaving her destitute. Think of it as you leaving her with exactly what she brought into the relationship. You're not married, you don't have kids, you saw love and she saw a piggy bank. She didn't quit her job to try something else. That was her excuse so that she could get you to support her jobless ass. No Scarcity says, nope, not the arsehole. I'm so sorry this happened to you. Fortunately, you found out before you became even more entangled or married. It seriously sucks, and it'll probably be a while before you can throw her out. You'll probably have to evict her. A BMW? Really? She's got expensive taste, huh? Well, guess who shouldn't settle? You, dude. You can do a whole lot better, and I seriously doubt she can. T-Mink says she lives with you and doesn't work. She has friends and family, and frankly, get out from under this dating situation quickly. I would tell her that you know what she says to her friends about you, and you heard her talking to her friend. Never did love come into the conversation once. That you want to break up and she must leave immediately. I suggest you bring a friend while you do this, and pack her bag and have her go to family or friend, so she can't say you hit her or said horrible things to her with a witness. In the moment, she will desperately say anything out of panic and abandonment issues. You are dating and don't need to be so generous with her. We date to choose our partner, and you do not want to be hers. Crawley74 says, I'm going to be probably the lone person saying this. Did you hear the whole conversation? When you eavesdrop, you tend to miss things, and they can be things that make the difference. Talk to her first. Potential Diamond says, are you sure she meant those things in a negative way? From what you've said, her comments could go either way. I've definitely said similar things about my partner, but I've never meant them in a negative way. Even you admit that you didn't get the full context of the conversation. Maybe the friend she was talking to was dealing with a bad breakup and your fiancé was trying to reassure her that there are normal guys out there to settle down with. You don't know for sure and your reaction seems extreme given how much you don't know. You should have a conversation with your fiancé first and find out what the context was before completely demolishing your relationship. You are now seeing everything else you've done for her in a bad light because this conversation you overheard is casting a shadow over all of it. Maybe if you can get some clarity on that, then what you should do next will become clear. And I have to say, as I was reading this, and if it does turn out that she's using you for money and whatever else and settling in the context that you think it means, then absolutely break up. But obviously this is your relationship, so I think there is a conversation to be had here, just in case, like some of the comments says, something was missed along the way, something was taken out of context or something along those lines. You said at one point that Jay wants a, in quoting, nice normal guy after all the arseholes she dated. Oh no, I don't see nice normal guy as a bad thing, especially with followed by after all the arseholes she's dated. Like I said, might totally be wrong, might be just using you for money, but I think there is a conversation to be had there, especially as she is your fiancé. The story's probably going to make me out to be an arsehole now for saying that, but edit. Thank you everyone for your advice and kind words. I will talk to June sometime over the weekend. I think she picked up that something was up. I didn't call her from work like I usually do, and last couple of nights I made an excuse that I was beat and went to bed pretty early. I tried to read as many replies and provide more information, but I wanted to clarify a couple of things. Regardless of how shitty I feel, I didn't like people calling June nasty names. It's partly my fault, I didn't give enough detail. Before quitting, she had a decent enough job. She's not good at managing money at all, but she would buy stuff for the house or gifts for me on special occasions. I never thought of her as a gold digger. She talked to me about quitting and trying to be a real estate agent. She told me she liked the freedom of the profession and I tried to be supportive. Secondly, I don't think I misunderstood her meaning. Maybe she didn't mean it as a negative, but the messages were crystal clear. She settled for me. And there was one comment OP did leave in reply to a question which someone said, "Why do you love her, OP? Do you have a lot in common or is she pretty?" OP says, "She has the most melodic laugh I have ever heard. Like it's impossible not to smile when she's laughing. She liked taking care of me, or I thought she did. She would do the most thoughtful things that seem mundane, but were important to me. She also made me feel special. She can be very loving and affectionate. I just felt 8 feet tall when I was with her, and she is pretty. Maybe that was all there was to it, and I was just fooling myself. But if I was, I'm a fucking Jedi Master because I convinced myself it was real." Then OP updates the post and says, "Hi everyone. Thank you to everyone for your advice and kind words. Here is the update. I talked to June. I told her how I overheard her talking, how she is settling for me. I told her how that felt and what kind of mood I was in after. She had tears rolling down her face as I was telling her how I felt. She didn't say anything for a bit, and she just said, 'I'm sorry. It was true when we started dating. She just heard from a mutual friend that I was great and she thought she'd give me a chance. She said in the beginning it was about feeling safe and feeling like she could be supported and loved. In the beginning it was just being with someone who had their shit together and would be good for her. Eventually she fell in love. She loved me dearly. This didn't make me feel better. I then told her about the text messages. This is when she got angry. I was an asshole for going through her messages. Violation of privacy, betrayal of trust. How dare I? I didn't set out to get her password. She's just extremely careless with it. She hits remember password on everything. When she types it out, she hits show password first. If you happen to be glancing at the screen, you'd know what it was. That's how I found out. I never thought to use it until that day. Eventually, after going on about reading her messages, she stopped and was sobbing for a minute. Finally, she just goes, "What do you want me to say? I can't help how I feel." I wasn't the type she'd go for before. She's still attracted to those types of guys. She's just older now and knows better. That's why she's settled for me. She loves me and wants to spend the rest of her life with me. That doesn't work for me. I told her we had different ideas about what a relationship, especially marriage, were. The trust is broken for both of us. I went through her messages. She settled for me enough, though I'm not her type. This is where we go our separate ways. We agreed eventually that she stay with one of her friends. I'll move all her stuff to the spare bedroom. When she finds a place, I'll help her move. She can keep the car. I was just being an asshole about leaving her destitute. She was crying from the moment we started talking to the moment we went into separate rooms. It wasn't easy seeing her like that. I wanted to go to her and hold her, but it had to be done. When I closed the door to my room, that's when all the emotions washed over me. I was bawling the whole time. The sheets still smelled like her, and either I couldn't or didn't want to change them just then. I feel shitty, and I won't be okay for a while. But I am pretty certain I did the right thing. I read a lot of comments on the old post, and it shocked me. Truly, I was a little taken aback with how many comments I saw from women that they did the same thing. They settled for their current SO after going through a bunch of guys that was more their type. To me, that's super fucked. Like, if your partner knows and you're both cool with it, fine, I guess. Live your life, but to me that's gross. If you settle with your SO for safety, comfort, financial calculus, that's what an arranged marriage is. You want the benefits of an arranged marriage without any of the obligations of one. If you can pull it off, more power to you, but that's not something that interests me at all. I also read a whole bunch of get an ironclad prenup. I understand the thinking, but I don't want to do that. Maybe I'm too quixotic and old-fashioned, but starting a lifelong commitment with a plan on how to end it doesn't seem right. I guess it's something I have to pay attention to more going forward. Thank you again, everyone. If there are any updates to be had, I'll post again. That's it. And there was one highlighted comment on this one, which I'm going to read out from Rose Travel, who says, I think it might be worth mentioning that I think often settling and deprogramming get conflated in these situations. Look, I get that everyone thinks taste is some kind of fingerprint deeply unique to the individual, but it's simply not true. Taste is influenced by society, friends, and family. Sure, you can grow up not to like certain foods your family does like, but largely your food interests are influenced by what you are even exposed to. Same things with like music. Society and what's cool often plays a factor, or how you want to relate to society and what is cool is a factor. Just look at all these guys on TikTok finally discovering that they like Taylor Swift after their buddy shows them their music. Think of all the times they probably heard that from women in their life before that. If taste wasn't influenced by society and the people around us, why would it matter who told them to listen to Taylor's music? This is all really to say that I think a lot of women grow up programmed to have a certain taste in men from society and the people around them. That they need someone volatile, hot, or dangerous to validate their worth. But as women grow up, they realize it's not true, that they want something different. They want to be loved and respected. They want to feel calm and safe. More often, they are chaotic and stressed. They want to care for someone who makes them feel cared for. They have all this love to invest in someone. They want someone worthy to them, not based on stupid shit they learned on teen soap operas growing up, lol. And women will say things like, you weren't my usual type, but really they mean, oh, hadn't questioned yet what I actually wanted and needed. I was being fed this from society and people around me. I don't know. In your situation, it does sound like you were providing for her quite a bit, and so it really is you who would know if it's what I mentioned above or more like she's using you. I thought I'd offer this as an alternative. Many people in the replies discussing the usage of the word settling, and others bringing up the difference between settling and settling down. I find this super interesting because on the nose, I agree with the premise that one has a worse connotation than the other. But the more I thought about it, the more I do think that it's true. They have different connotations. They actually mean similar things. Deciding as you mature, you want to seek out and prioritize different things in a partner. However, settling down is more often ascribed to men as a positive quality, while settling is more often directed at women and is inherently seen as a negative. And yet they are foundationally the same premise. I don't know, I haven't thought this one all the way through, but it is making the wheels turn, lol. Because while I say all this, if someone said they were settling for me as opposed to really meaning settling down with me, my feelings would be hurt, lol. So I feel the difference in meaning, but I do think it's worth questioning. I would also like to add that I feel many people in the comments jump from he has a good job to gold digger, and I don't think that's fair. As I've stated, and other people in the replies, context matters, and often having a job isn't about money, it's about reliability and a proven ability to improve at things over time. It really would depend exactly what the fiance said and how she said it. I really think it's that nuanced. I don't know, I felt weird by the use of settled in the update in this. You know, if that's what he wants to do with his relationship, absolutely. I'm not going to argue with it because he knows the ins and outs of it. He knows if he was being used or he knows what he was going through and, you know, he's dealt with it in his own way. But to him saying like there's a bunch of other people whose settled for their current SO after going through a bunch of guys that was more their type and claims that's super fucked. And I'm like, really? Maybe I'm just looking at it in totally the wrong fucking way, because it just seems like that would be a normal dating process to me. You meet someone, you get to know them, you might go on a date, you might go for a coffee, you chat a little bit more, you get to know each other, and initially they might not be your type, you might not get to know them, but as you speak to them, you get to know their ins and outs, their hobbies, everything about them, you might just start falling in love with them, and surely that's a normal thing, right? I'd be bloody shocked if someone fell in love with me instantly. It's just all on that word settling, which I just find, really strange, but I'm quite happy to be in the wrong, and I always listen to comments, and that's what I love about this channel is listen to you guys, listen to the comments down below, and learning about life in general. But now I'm gonna turn this one to you guys. Oh, dearie me, what do you guys make of this situation? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. And let's have another story from the Am I the Arsehole subreddit from the actual idiot, who says, am I the arsehole for making my husband a vegan dinner, even though he's completely against becoming one? I, 24 male, and my husband, 25 male, have been happily married for a little over a year now. We met through a mutual friend, and he learned very quickly that I am a vegan. About a year after we met and got closer, we started dating. He had no issues with me being vegan, but made it very clear that I couldn't force him into being a vegan, which I respected. I haven't ever put him down for eating meat in front of me, as that is his choice. Each to their own. We even served both vegan and meat-inclusive food at our wedding to accommodate both of our families. Up until now, everything was great. However, recently, I've been seeing a ton of vegan recipes on my Pinterest and decided I wanted to try making one for dinner. We don't usually end up getting to have fancy dinners at home, as both of us work full time. I found some time today to cook something up. It was a recipe for pulled pork sandwiches, but the pork wasn't actually pork. Instead, it was jackfruit. He seemed a little stressed about work, but I showed him the surprise dinner, and that seemed to help his mood out. He ate it happily and even complimented my cooking. But when he asked what was in it, and when I told him it was a pulled pork sandwich with jackfruit as a meat alternative, he lashed out. He shouted, telling me that he made it clear that he was staying a meat eater. I tried explaining that I wasn't trying to turn him into a vegan, but he just walked away. This happened a few hours back, and now he's refusing to talk to me. I feel like I might be the asshole for making him a vegan meal, even though he'd made it extremely clear he wouldn't become one. Because even if it wasn't an intention to make him one, I still made a vegan dinner that passed off as one with meat in it. So Reddit, am I the arsehole? Edit. This is a pretty commonly asked question, so I'll just clear it up here. I didn't say it was a pulled pork sandwich. All I had said was that I made him some sandwiches for us. Nothing more and nothing less. Look, you said yourself here, you're not trying to push veganism on him, you simply cooked a meal which you thought looked good. He ate it happily, he complimented your cooking, and then when you told him that was a meat alternative, he loses his shit. I mean, get over it, man. But hello, just saying, quotes a section and says, I do not understand people like this who love food until finding out that it is vegan. You're not pushing veganism on him. You made a meal that you could eat and he ended up enjoying. I do not see the issue. I can't eat dairy, so I use plant-based milks, butters, cheese, etc. in meals. My husband doesn't care as long as it tastes good. I also make vegetarian/vegan meals at least once a week, just to take a meat break. As a big meat eater, he also does not care about that as long as it tastes good. Not the arsehole. Ariel says, repeat after me. When you yell at me after I've cooked for you, it makes me not want to create homemade dinners anymore. When you give me the silent treatment, it makes me wonder if you value our relationship at all. Your desire to eat meat shouldn't trump our relationship's value and serenity. I didn't make you a vegan. I made you a meal that you said you enjoyed. I wasn't trying to trick you. I was creating food that I can eat from a new recipe. You deserve better. Now that you know he'll be upset about it, tell him every ingredient in dinner before he starts. But maybe make sure you get an apology too. Not the arsehole. Haunting Procedure says he sounds a little slow and embarrassed. If you, a vegan, made the dinner and ate it with him, he didn't connect the dots. I live a vegan. When she cooks, it's vegan. When I cook, I keep the meat separate so she can eat the majority of the meal as well. Kindness is free. One more comment from Available Love, who says, not the arsehole. You didn't tell him it was vegan, true, but it sounds like this was dinner that you both ate. So he saw you eating it. If you, a vegan, are eating it, it must be vegan. Is he really pissed, not because you gave him a vegan meal, but because he thought he'd gotten you to leave veganism and eat meat randomly? That was the thing that was confusing me in this. I sort of pictured them two eating it together, and, you know, husband knows OP's a vegan, so what the fuck's going through his head? I don't know. But now I'm going to turn this one to you guys. What do you guys make of this situation? Holy moly. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. Just a huge thank you from the bottom of my heart for getting involved in today's stories. Your love, your support, your time always means the absolute world to me. So thank you so, so much. And hopefully I'll see you in the next one. Take care and much love.